How's it going? Today I'm going to show off the Ontario SP8 machete. This is a thick, heavy-duty machete. It's a American-made, completely produced in America, 1095 steel machete. The purpose of this machete, for an Australian person like me who lives in the Australian bush, is mainly as a clearing tool. So this, in conjunction with my Machete or my newly acquired Pulaski, I'm going to put to great use clearing some land next to me, putting in about a 5 metre wide fire break. So that will be clearing out scrub and saltbush and things like that. On the other side, as you can see behind me, we've got some lovely grapevines. However, on the other side, pure bushland as far as the eye can see. So that's where the Ontario SP8 will come in. The cutting edge is just over 8 inches, so it's not the longest cutting edge in the world. However, when you compare using it for such a task as clearing as to a hatchet, for example, you find that having like the much longer, larger surface means you have to be less accurate, and you can sort of chop with more impunity, so to speak. With a hatchet you have to be quite accurate, and of course that lends itself to overswinging and it makes it a dangerous scenario. So although there isn't quite the market for machetes in Australia as there is sort of in America or places with rainforest, even in northern Australia, I'm in southern Australia, there isn't as much sort of wet foliage and rainforest succulents and things like that to be hacking your way through when you go bushwalking and such. This still makes a very potent land clearing tool. Get a bit closer. As you can see, the back is a saw, a type of saw blade construction. So far in its use, I haven't found it to be particularly effective for sawing. However, you may see some other videos of people using it for notching and traps and such. Then it graduates towards the end, goes towards a fairly strong, or a very strong point actually, and then goes into what's actually a chisel edge. And so it's a square-edged machete, so down there embedded in the tree is the corner, like a square corner. The whole machete's length is 15 inches long. This handle, as far as I'm aware, it goes all the way into the handle, the tang, and the handle's made of sort of a rubberized sort of plastic material. It's quite comfortable to hold. However, these ridges, they do wear on your hands a little bit, so I'm thinking of putting some O-rings in them, just like you would on a K-bar knife. So I might see how that works out for me. And at the end, to wrap around your wrist, there's this cord material. Now this is definitely not paracord, it's actually shoelace. And this is how it came, shoelace material. And that's fine for around your wrist, I suppose. It's got a nice, the handle's got a nice guard here, so your hand fits well around it, and it's got a nice front guard as well, so when you are using it to drive in and chisel into things, your hand's not going to slide forward onto that blade. The blade comes as sharp as you would need a machete like this to be. It's not super sharp. It's about as sharp as a standard axe, not as a Grandsfizz axe, of course. But this is a machete, which is a tool to be bludgeoned into things. It's not supposed to be doing detailed work. I think the addition of the chisel perhaps shows their intention to perhaps use it for sort of finer planing and tasks like that. It would make a really good debarker, or for an adze sort of type tool. But then I'm probably not going to use it for that either. For me, this is purely going to be a brush clearing tool. So it comes with this black coating on it, which, you know, if I had my way, I probably wouldn't. I don't mind oiling a 1095 blade or a high carbon blade, but it does stop the whole blade from needing to rust. This way you just need to maintain that edge. Let's get some shots of the edge there. Oh, the more I try, the more it blurs. So as you can see, I've had this for a couple of weeks now. I've used it a fair bit. Put one coat of Singer's machine oil on it, and it's completely fine. So I'll do some action shots of it now. I'll do some chopping and things like that. Actually, first I'll go into the sheath. There we are. That's the sheath. The sheath it's a dangling cut style sheath. I see people mod it to fold it over and they tie it with paracord. But yeah, it's a dangling style sheath. Goes around this part goes through your belt, and it tapers down. And then this part, that's that shoelace material, wraps around your thigh. Now this leather insert meets sort of a nylon front here, so that's nylon, and that's leather in there. It snaps on, and those button snaps are incredibly stiff, those three, the 1, 2 and 3. The top one's fine for undoing, I found I haven't had to undo the other 3 anyway. I just pull it out and upwards like a large knife. So I'll swap to some shots of me doing some chopping with it, and that will sum up the review. My thoughts on this machete are that it's very, very good and very good value. It's $81 Australian I paid for it, and for any 1095 knife with an 8-inch cutting blade, you're thinking what, a Becker BK9 or something in that ballpark. Those are about $140 for an Australian to order on the internet. So just by being branded as a machete, you get the same steel and the same utility almost. A bit different, but very high quality, American-made tool. So I highly recommend you getting a machete if you have a sort of clearing or large-scale task to do, such as I do. Stay with me and I'll do some chopping. Some mallee scrub here. This is really knotty, hard, dry wood. This is the sort of thing that I'll be clearing. So just see how easily it goes through this. Yeah, pretty easily. That's a straight across cut as well, no angling or anything like that. Perfect. Trick is to get it on that tip. Now I'm going to swing with it. Perfect. Yeah, so the trick is definitely to use all your energy to get that tip right into what you want to hit. But then of course you've got the rest of this nice long blade to get the rest of the, perhaps if you're not so accurate, to perhaps clean up the rest of the mess left by your failed tip strike. So all in all, not a bad machete. I've yet to find a good use for the back of this though. Yeah, it tends to just grind away, so perhaps it's more of a trap making tool, the back saw part. It's definitely not very sharp. I think it might be the coating as well making it less sharp, but I would be just as happy if this was squared off. So with such a good cutting tool and such a solid feeling tool, I'm just happy to have such a good edge and a good tip to do the work that I bought it to do. This is all superfluous. That's about the long and the short of my review. I suppose I could show you the tip. So you can do some relatively standard grinding and feathering. This is actually debarking this quite well. I'm sure there's a technique to it, but even just as I'm going, yeah, it's actually not too bad. So sort of starts to feather it quite well. So yeah, the Ontario SP8 machete. If you don't have a machete and you think you might need one, it's a pretty good one to get. Thanks for watching.